Nostalgic fight in Las Vegas. Robbie Lawler stops Nick Diaz. Let's get into the video.
Welcome back to the 11th Island, everyone. I'm Brad here with Chris, special guest back for the immediate reactions, Brock, and Robbie Lawler just finished Nick Diaz by TKO in the third round. I mean, two pioneers of the sports fighting here. We're going to get into what's next for both of these fighters, if we even really who we want to see them fight, if we want to see them fight. But Chris, first, what do we think of this fight?
Well, it definitely got off to a slow start there. I mean, the spinning back kick, you know, when he first shot it, promised like, whoa, you know, but it really flopped. And first, there was a real feeling out process for both these guys, with Nick Diaz kind of being very defensive, you know, very protective of himself, you know, unsure, but definitely warmed into that fight. And but ultimately, you know, this is a blast from the past, a fun fight, but ultimately one that's like, you know what?
Not the outcome the fans were looking for.
No, not the outcome the fans were looking for.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Diaz is the fan favorite here. It was, I would say, it's very, people might get mad, very Bellator feel to this fight with a couple of old guys swinging in there. I would say Robbie Lawler came in. Robbie Lawler looked good. Nick Diaz warmed up as the fight went on. I think the ring rust, maybe even in his own head a little bit. I mean, we saw the interviews before the fight talking about they didn't really even want to be here and didn't want to fight. But then he said that Usman was a better matchup, which is confusing. But regardless, and then the weight change. So there's a lot going on in Nick Diaz's head, which was very visible going into this. It's a situation where I think we all expected to see a Nick Diaz that was less than what we saw in 2015, but this was unfortunately a lot less, a lot more than we would have hoped for. And I mean, going forward here, it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think my opinion of Nick Diaz hasn't changed. I think he's still an absolute warrior, a legend of the sport. He didn't embarrass himself tonight. He still put on a good performance for what he's capable of doing at this point. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Brock, what do you think of that finish?
Not how I want to see the fight end. It's like I would like to see it go all 5 rounds. Them being at the age and at the point in their career, you're not going to see that war like the one from 17 years ago.
Yeah, and it's full circle. I mean, the check right hook that finished Robbie Lawler 17 years ago, Robbie Lawler gets to finish with here. And it's nice for Robbie, who kind of lost a lot of shine. People are really focusing on Nick Diaz. Robbie is an absolute legend of the sport as well. He's somebody, I mean, a former world champ. He's fought the who's who of the middleweight and welterweights divisions. And nice to see him kind of get one back that he probably never thought he'd have a chance at getting. Now, I'll kick it to you, Chris. Looking ahead, we'll start with Nick Diaz. Do we want to see him even fight again?
You know, as fun as this was going into this week, and you know, with Nate coming back and then Nick talking, and it feels like old school. I mean, shoulders of giants. These are the guys that built this organization out here, with the lipping and with just the ability to just never back down, never relent, never stop. And it's like, there's only so far you can push that narrative, and you back up that whole promise, that marketing, with that in the octagon, without ultimately diminishing it. And I think no stock was lost by Nick Diaz here, but I think this was the, okay, my brother has been coming back in. He's been really fighting some big names and getting some respectable losses. I'm going to come out, see if I can catch some magic, you know, and the magic, that the spinning back kick, you know, the hook, the fun little shot that just gets you lucky, like, just wasn't there for Nick. And I think you kind of say, okay, you know, and in that post-fight interview, you know, it was candid, it was from the heart, it was clearly a little bit punch drunk, you know, and I think he was just very honest. I think that was the most honest we've seen in Nick Diaz. Though he's always been a very candid person, but it was just clear, you know, that was fun, that was nice to come back in. There was some management issues, like maybe I didn't even want to do it. It's kind of crazy, you know, blah 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 blah, and then yeah, I'm gonna go back to teaching kids, and I think that's I mean,
his way of saying that, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I agree, and then I think I agree with that exactly. I think that it's best. This was fun. We don't need to see it ran back. For Robbie Lawler here, I think put on a good performance, looked good. The question is with Robbie is you're on the not even the back 90 career. You're looking at like the 16th, 17th hole. Does the UFC need to sit down with Robbie, I think, and say, are we making a push for you here? You've lost a few before this. Are you trying to make a push, or are you just trying to kind of ride the waves and just finish strong in your career? Because the next fight is very dependent. I think Robbie can parlay this into a ranked fight if you wanted. I think many ranked fighters are still willing to face Robbie Lawler, the name that brings, especially coming off a Nick Diaz win.
Yep.
But if he's not trying to make a strong late career push, which I don't think he'd be in a position to successfully at this point anyway, I think you really sit down and say, let's get maybe some other older guys in the division and kind of get you a fight that you can walk off into the sunset with, because there can't be too many left in his career. Do you agree?
Yeah, completely agree.
Well, I mean, there's a couple things. First off, like, this wouldn't have been a bad night to retire.
No.
And I say that that would have been.
I would even go further. I think it would have been a great night.
Night to retire. Second, I mean, it's tough to see a fight with a guy where it's like, oh, we're gonna go into this. No, we're gonna have a fun, money fight that can be a co-main somewhere, 5-round co-main. I'm thinking, Nate Diaz, because Nick Diaz is going to come in now and be the nice guy. I'm teaching kids and everything. Nate Diaz, he's not going to play that game. He's going to play the old school Diaz brothers shtick. And so for him to come in and say, you know what, I'm going to use this as a linchpin to sell a fight against this guy, I think that's a big money fight. And it's a fight that Nate can really win, which kind of pushes him back towards, I can take a top 5 in that welterweight division. Yeah. And then also, I mean, another guy that's kind of, I just came this off the dome, maybe because Brock just looks like him. Cowboy Cerrone's hanging around here. And Cowboy has shown that he can get up to 170.
Yeah. After his last fight, though, with Brandon Moreno, I think Lawler would finish him.
Yeah. I see that, and I think going forward here, I think you guys let us know in the comments. I think the Nate Diaz, like Chris said, I think that'd be a fun fight for Robbie Lawler. Let us know in the comments what you guys think for Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler. We apologize for being 20 minutes late on the immediate reaction. We had some technical difficulties. That's why. But like, comment, subscribe.